That's a very tough question, but you know what? I just kind of looking at how recency bias went. I have to be looking at Breadman. I think that his utilization of the new perks.
Yo, what is up YouTube? My name is Breadman and welcome to the bakery. Today's video is going to be on the new Season 5 perks that were added with the Season 5 drop and whether or not they're actually useful and whether you should switch your perks that you're using now to these perks. So let's get into it. As you may know by now, the Season 5 update of Warzone was a bit short of everyone's expectations. The patch notes were surprisingly short, only fixing a couple bugs and adding a couple things. Really, they probably did more harm than good. There's been numerous bugs that have been found since the update, and that's just what happens with these updates, to be honest. The one good thing, though, about the patch notes was the introduction of two new perks, Combat Scout and Tempered. This is the first time, though, since Warzone's launch back in March of 2020, that the game has seen any new perks. Even with the Cold War integration at the turn of the year, no new perks were added. We've been rocking the exact same 1, 2, and 3 slot that have kind of been meta for over a year now. We need a change. But I mean, you may be thinking a little bit, are the new perks even worth it? Kind of, yeah and no. I mean, it really just depends on what kind of player you are. Let's get a glimpse of my experience with the two perks and then see if you and I share those same opinions. Let's hop into it.
Advance. Now they move into positions to try to lock down this last player. You gotta think it's one or two, not many. There's the crack and the elim. The cleanup is good. The headshot's even better. That's what they were looking for. 3 elims, but still about 8 players, if I'm reading that correctly, still up to go. And this zone is in the middle of nowhere, Puckett. This is gonna be tough.
Yeah, and I think that was Intelekt they just dropped, which means colors and a track should be nearby. Long range shots being peppered back and forth. Exact is going to get back up to full plates. Bread with just a plate missing continues to spam the pre-aim crack. And that's that new perk coming in handy. Tags up that opponent for you, highlights them, and Bread's able to finish the kill.
Combat Scout is great when it works like this. There's 2 more, and there's the cleanup. 1 left alive. It's a 3v1.
All right, so the clip that you guys just finished watching is actually a custom game lobby win that I got with Jobo and Exact on Monday in the Rocker 100K tourney. And so this win guaranteed us 6K as a team alone. So it was a massive win to get. And partially so, we got it because of that Combat Scout that I was running. The Combat Scout perk, arguably, for me, I like it more than Tempered. Combat Scout's practical uses for, the wide majority of players, you don't have to be good to use Combat Scout effectively. I mentioned this in my comms video. If you're bad with, calming who you're shooting, or you're bad at talking about where somebody is when you shoot them, Combat Scout does that for you. It literally active marks people for you. Only the person who's running the perk gets to see the person glow up bright orange, but your teammates get an active mark. It's a different looking active mark than normal, but it is still very easy to see on the screen. And so I do recommend using this. The issue with Combat Scout is that it replaces the 3rd perk slot, which is Amped. Warzone is a year and a half in, and people have been using Amped for that entire time. Some people run Tracker, I think, in the 3rd slot, but the majority of people use Amped. And so some people just like that fast weapon swap, and so that is something that you'll have to trade out. I recommend Combat Scout in team comps. Like, if your team is playing for the win, someone needs to run Combat Scout. It is that good. You need someone to sit back far. I use the Stoner in part of this game. The Stoner is a good LMG right now, and the C58 is good for it, but the Combat Scout is worth it. Tempered, on the other hand, is a whole different beast. All right, so let's talk a little bit about Tempered. Tempered is a perk that goes over your 2nd slot, so you do have the ability to run this and still have your amped and still have your EOD or double time or whatever you run in that slot. But the problem is you're going to be unghosted if you run this. Some people don't mind that. They go restock, something like that. But I do not think Tempered is worth not being ghosted for, unless you're playing like a 1v4, a 1v3, you're playing like that. But if you're in a team comp, you really don't need Tempered. Essentially, what Tempered is really good for, this is the scenario. Say you're 1v4ing a squad and you don't have any plates. You get shot a couple times, you get broken, you only have to put in 2 plates to get to full plate, and then you're back in a fight. That is really the only time that it's useful. Combat Scout, on the other hand, is useful all the time. So you could kind of see, why I value Combat Scout more, why many other people value Combat Scout more. But overall, it is still a new perk, and that you should definitely try it out. But other than that, that is what I have about Combat Scout and Tempered. For those of you that are still here, I appreciate you for making it to the end of the video. Here is a clip from the Twitch channel that I do stream live from every day, of me learning how mail works for my Twitch chat. So appreciate this, Jim. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. Peace, guys. The exact same thing. Speaking of checking the mail, I gotta check the mail. Do they run the mail every day? Like, should you check it every day, or should you just look? Is that like a mail schedule you can look up, or is that ran every day? Because I know Amazon, like, you can run that any day, but like the U.S. Postal Service, how does that run?
Oh, there's a Bertha chasing.
Stop it, Ash. No mail on Sundays?
I don't know if
Okay.
his buddies are on it or what.
It's every day? Okay, so you should always check the mail. Okay, good to know, good to know. Is this a real question? Yes, I don't know when they run the mail.
On Fave again, I think.
I'm getting sniped from northeast.
Northeast, it's an antenna then. We just don't know exactly where.
Oh, yeah, right here.
Dude, that's what I'm saying, Juicy. What is mail?
Someone dropped me 500 bucks.
Like, you will learn if you're new here. I'm not an adult. I have no clue how to do this stuff.